Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we delve into Fear Less by Dr. Pippa Grange, a revelation on how fear subtly shapes our lives, muting the vibrancy of our work, relationships, and personal joy. Published in 2021, this insightful book throws light on the myriad ways fear manifests and influences our daily interactions and decisions, often without our conscious realization. The key, as Dr. Grange proposes, is in recognizing these deep-seated fears and insecurities, thereby embarking on a journey towards a more enriching and brave existence. Dr. Pippa Grange, with her extensive background as a sports psychologist and culture coach, notably played a pivotal role as the head of people and team development for the Football Association. Her work bolstered the psychological resilience of the England football team. Today, she is a significant figure in Right to Dream's leadership team, extending her expertise to foster global sporting excellence and human development. Fear Less is an indispensable read for a diverse audience. Whether you are a perfectionist, continually battling feelings of inadequacy, someone private who finds honesty and intimacy daunting, or if you face fears in more specific aspects of life like flying, parenting, or making commitments, Dr. Grange's insights offer a path to confronting and overcoming those fears. This book not only serves as a mirror reflecting our innermost fears, but also lights the way towards a life embraced with courage and authenticity. Join us in exploring how to fear less and live more. Fear less. Face not good enough to replace your doubts, achieve your goals, and unlock your success. Introduction. Dive into courage, embrace your fears, and enrich your life. Imagine navigating through life, subtly encased in a bubble of fear without even realizing its presence. This isn't about the occasional fright from horror movies or the natural apprehension of heights. It's the deeper, often unacknowledged fear of failure, of not being enough, that shadows many of our lives. Perhaps you've rationalized your anxiety as just a fear of spiders or the dark, yet what truly keeps you awake at night might be the dread of inadequacy or the belief that you are undeserving of love. Our society doesn't ease this burden. It actually amplifies it, entangling us further into fear, with myths and misconceptions about what it means to be fearless. Moreover, our own minds seem to be in on this conspiracy against peace. At the slightest hint of threat, our brains are wired to hit the panic button, a remnant of prehistoric survival mechanisms highly unsuited to modern stresses. But what if there was a way out of this fear trap? Enter wisdom from realms as varied as psychology and the daring adventures of a fearless freediver. Through their insights, you'll embark on an exploration, uncovering how to dismantle the architecture of fear your mind constructs. First, you'll discover the transformative power of having a purpose, a beacon that can guide you through the fog of fear, illuminating paths previously hidden. Purpose acts not merely as a goal, but as an anchor, providing stability amidst the chaos of fearful thoughts. Then there's the unexpected valor found in sentimental talismans. Yes, that lucky charm you've been told is nothing but superstitious nonsense. It turns out it might be a piece of your armor against fear. These objects symbolize hope and belief, powerful antidotes to fear. Lastly, you'll learn why, in the eyes of your brain, there's not much difference between you and a caveman faced with a saber-toothed tiger. Our brains have evolved to protect us, but this protective mechanism often misfires in today's world, where physical threats are comparatively rare, yet psychological threats are abundant. Understanding this basic fact about your brain's operation is the first step to liberating yourself from its overprotective tendencies. These insights and more await to guide you through the intricacies of fear, teaching you not only to face your fears, but to understand them, and ultimately, lead a life enriched by the courage to embrace every moment fully. Part 1. Unraveling the Tangled Web of Fear. The Truth Behind Societal Myths. In the tapestry of human emotions, fear is a complex, pervasive thread that weaves its way through our experiences, often unbeknownst to us. Whether it's the spike of adrenaline when we momentarily lose a child in a crowded mall, or the flutter of anxiety before stepping onto a stage, fear has a way of asserting itself in our lives. While these instances are unmistakable signs of fear, there are subtler forms that creep into our consciousness, fueled by envy or the relentless critique of our self-worth. These too stem from fear, though we seldom recognize them as such. This narrative uncovers that many of our deeply entrenched fears are not merely personal failings, but are significantly shaped by harmful societal myths. These myths plant seeds of fear early on, teaching us that life is essentially a high-stakes competition. Success is painted as a zero-sum game, where one's gain is predicated on another's loss. This ideology is reinforced everywhere, from the expectations set by our families and educators, to the stories glorified in our movies. Think of iconic characters who conquer through sheer dominance and fearlessness. Yet the glorification of fear as a motivator is grossly misleading. Consider for a moment the sheer improbability of living our daily lives as if we're script-bound heroes in a thriller. The truth is far less cinematic. Fear, far from being an ally, more often acts as a barrier. It narrows our vision, restricting us to a survival mindset unsuitable for the richness of human experience. Darwin's survival of the fittest has been misinterpreted as well. Real-world success doesn't always favor the physically strongest, but often the most adaptable, creative, and cooperative among us. The mythology surrounding competition and fear is not merely unhelpful, it's harmful. It props up the fear of failure as a specter haunting many aspects of our lives. This fear is a formidable opponent, but it's one we must face if we are to untangle ourselves from societal expectations. Failure, after all, isn't an anomaly. It's an inherent aspect of the human condition. It offers us valuable lessons, prompting us to reassess our paths and, at times, chart new courses entirely. By recognizing and questioning these societal myths, we begin to disentangle ourselves from the web of fear they weave. Embracing failure, understanding competition in a healthier context, and reframing success as a collaborative rather than combative endeavor can liberate us from fear's grip. But societal myths are not the sole architects of our fears. Our own bodies and minds, shaped by millennia of evolution, often act against our best interests, skewing our perceptions and reactions. Understanding this internal dynamic is key to navigating and mitigating fear. Part 2. When fear grips, the evolutionary tale of our body and mind. Picture this. A phone call shatters the silence, and the voice on the other end says, "I'm afraid I have some bad news." Instantly, a wave of electric panic surges through you, triggering a primal kind of fear. It's an all too familiar sensation, one that begs the question, why does fear exert such a potent influence on us? The answer lies in our evolutionary makeup. Our bodies are hardwired for fear, equipped with a neural architecture primed to respond to any perceived threats. This reaction starts in the amygdala, a pivotal area of the brain responsible for activating our fight or flight response. Without this primal mechanism, our ancestors wouldn't have survived the myriad dangers of their world. Evolutionary design has endowed fear with a compelling sway over both mind and body. This ancient circuitry that once ensured our forebears' survival now poses a paradoxical tension within our brains. One part, ancient and unchanging, is focused solely on our survival, perpetually on high alert for risks. In stark contrast, another part, which develops as we grow, drives us towards innovation and exploration. This dichotomy often leaves us in a state of unease, our brains juggling the demand for safety with the desire for advancement. Unfortunately, the more primitive part of our brain, struggles to differentiate between the sources of threat. Modern inconveniences, like a sudden honk in traffic, can set off deeply instinctual fear reactions. These automatic fear responses kick in beneath the surface of our consciousness, operating at speeds that bypass rational thought. As a result, we experience fear viscerally, with our ancient neural pathways commandeering our reaction before logic can take hold. The physical manifestations of fear, adrenaline rushes, trembling, sweating, or nausea, are merely the tip of the iceberg. Internally, fear impacts our cognitive functions dramatically. Our IQ, decision-making, and critical thinking skills all take a hit in the face of fear, essentially dulling our mental faculties. Moreover, fear can twist our perceptions, leading us to become more xenophobic, eyeing anything unfamiliar with suspicion and rejection. In the grip of fear, we turn hyper-defensive, shunning risks in a bid for safety. Clearly, living in a constant state of fear is neither sustainable for the individual nor healthy for society. This makes understanding and mastering strategies to counteract fear essential for reclaiming control over our minds and bodies, and paving the way for a life not overshadowed by fear, but enlightened by understanding and resilience. Part 3: The Art of Conquering Fear, from Deep Ocean Dives to Daily Challenges. Imagine holding your breath and plunging into the ocean's abyss, diving deeper than the towering height of the Statue of Liberty, without any gear. This isn't a figment of imagination, but a reality for William Trubridge, a world champion freediver, as he navigates the depths in the Bahamas. Freediving epitomizes a solitary confrontation with the vastness of the ocean, where mental tenacity becomes as crucial as physical endurance. Facing the formidable challenge of the deep, Trubridge epitomizes preparedness. Engaging with fear, especially the kind that surfaces in the heat of a moment, be it anxiety, clenching turbulence mid-flight, or pre-presentation jitters, involves arming oneself with strategies. It's about turning the table on fear before it even has a chance to unsettle you. One influential method is adopting a set routine or practice, such as a breathing technique, visualization, or anchoring yourself with a powerful positive affirmation, also known as a mantra. The mantra, gratitude for this opportunity, can shift your focus from fear to a space of potential and aspiration. Alternatively, distracting yourself through music or engaging conversations can offer a reprieve from the grip of fear. However, among the array of techniques, rationalization stands out. By leveraging logic and statistics to dismantle the architecture of your fear, you regain control. Trubridge, for instance, leans on rationalizing the risks, understanding that his true adversary is not pain or death, but the fear of failure. Mantras such as "nerves aren't real" or "now is all" serve as his mental anchors, keeping him rooted in the present. The cornerstone of Trubridge's calm during his dives is his meticulous preparation. Like professional athletes who integrate anxiety management into their regimen, Trubridge demonstrates that training your mind to navigate fear is akin to preparing for life's inevitable challenges. So if you find yourself jittery before a flight, take time to prepare. Choose a mantra, delve into relaxation practices, or educate yourself on the safety of air travel. This isn't merely about coping, but transforming fear into a stepping stone for growth. With practice, you can learn to steward the helm of your fears, navigating through life's daunting situations with grace and poise. Part 4: Shining a Light on the Shadows. Uncovering Hidden Fears. Fear, an inherent element of the human condition, insidiously weaves its way through our lives, sometimes in forms so subtle we scarcely recognize its presence. Yet, it's these underlying, unacknowledged fears that often encroach upon our happiness and disrupt our relationships, leaving a trail of unfulfilled potential in their wake. Take Jake, for instance, a skilled athlete whose performance on the field was unmatched. Despite his success, Jake harbored a deep-seated fear, one stemming not from the competitive nature of his sport, but from his own sense of identity. Concealing his sexuality became a full-time endeavor, creating a chasm between him and those he held dear. Teammates, family, even his girlfriend noticed a growing distance, an emotional moat Jake had unwittingly dug around himself. Jake's journey underscores a crucial realization that facing our fears begins with recognizing their existence. Whether it's the fear of not being accepted, the perpetual dread of failure, or the insidious jealousy that whispers doubts about our worthiness of love, the first step towards empowerment is acknowledgement. For Jake, this moment of clarity arrived during a therapy session, where he was encouraged to personify his fear. He envisioned it as a menacing, grisly bear, a guardian of his most vulnerable self, ostensibly protecting him from emotional harm, yet simultaneously keeping him locked in a prison of loneliness. Through this metaphorical confrontation, Jake began to understand that his fear, while protective in intent, was ultimately a barrier to true connection and happiness. Opening up about his sexuality, first to a therapist and then to his family, marked the beginning of Jake's liberation from the bear's shadow. The support and love he received in response were transformative, propelling him towards a future brighter than he'd dared to imagine. Jake's story serves as a beacon for all who navigate the murky waters of fear. By bringing our hidden fears into the light, examining them not as enemies but as misguided protectors, we can initiate a dialogue between our past selves and the future we yearn for. Acknowledging our fears is but the first step on a journey of self-discovery, a path that requires us to further untangle the threads of our innermost anxieties and bravely step forward into the lives we deserve. Part 5. Rewriting Your Fearful Narratives. The Power of Positive Storytelling. Every one of us at some point becomes an author, not of novels, but of our self-narratives. These are the stories we tell ourselves about who we are, our place in the world, and what we're capable of. Sometimes, without even realizing it, we cast ourselves in roles that restrict and confine us. Consider this. How often have you convinced yourself of a limiting belief by repeating it? Like a mantra, it's not worth trying. Before long, this narrative becomes a part of your reality, curating a world where fear and anxiety hold sway. Here lies a transformative opportunity. By altering the narratives we subscribe to, we can liberate ourselves from the chains of fear. Imagine a place where hardship is as much a part of the landscape as the soil beneath its residents' feet, Nima, Ghana. Characterized by crime, unemployment, and substandard living conditions, it would be easy for the people of Nima to succumb to despair. Yet, the introduction of the social enterprise, Amin Nima spelled backward, symbolizes an aspiration for change, urging the community to envision their home not as a slum, but as a nurturing ground for artists and entrepreneurs. This principle of narrational transformation applies universally. Flipping the script on the stories that govern our self-perception can catalyze profound change in our lives. However, the process is challenging, as these narratives are intimately tied to our identity. Our ego clings to them, making the act of rewriting both vulnerable and radical. Start by posing reflective questions about your relationship with fear. Inquire, who am I when gripped by fear? And what shifts can I initiate to dismantle these barriers I've erected? Approaching these questions with openness and sincerity will illuminate pathways to transformation. Consider an anecdote from the author's professional life. In a workplace predominantly occupied by men, she found herself dressing conservatively, subconsciously aiming to blend in and not draw attention to her gender. Upon recognizing this pattern, fueled by the fear of not being taken seriously, she chose to disrupt it, embracing personal expression over conformity. This journey of self-reflection and narrative reshaping begins with understanding. Who am I? And naturally evolves into contemplating, what do I want? It's a query that leads to the exploration of purpose, a beacon that guides us through the murky waters of fear and into the realm of possibility. By rewriting the limiting stories we tell ourselves, we not only confront and overcome fear, but also open ourselves up to a world brimming with potential and purpose. Part 6. Finding Your Anchor, the Power of Purpose and the Grace of Surrender. In the heart of Kabul, under the shadow of repressive regimes, Khalida Popal faced a reality that could have easily crippled the strongest of spirits. As a girl, she was told her dreams were not only unattainable but also shameful due to her gender. Amidst the oppressive backdrop of the Taliban's draconian edicts against women, Popal's passion for soccer became a clandestine pursuit, a silent rebellion swathed in fear and defiance. Yet it was this very fear that crystallized into a resolute sense of purpose, propelling Popal to champion the cause for women's rights in sports within Afghanistan, despite facing death threats and immense societal pushback. This brings us to an essential understanding. Fear, as formidable as it appears, can be subdued through the clarity of purpose or the act of surrender. Khalida Popal's journey is a testament to how a lucid sense of purpose can not only provide a bulwark against fear, but can also foster a deep sense of fulfillment. Purpose serves as a compass, guiding us through tumultuous seas, offering a semblance of stability amidst chaos. It's about pinpointing what matters most, asking ourselves reflective questions about our passions and the bedrock principles implanted by our upbringing. However, what if your path to purpose remains obscure? Herein lies the potency of surrender, embracing the uncertainty, yielding to the unknown or something larger than oneself, be it faith, destiny, or even the simple belief in a talisman's charm. The narrative of the Lancaster bomber air crews during World War II illustrates the sanctuary that surrender can offer. Amidst the unbearable tension of their missions, these men placed their trust in the intangible: silk stockings, knitted dolls, any charm that bore the semblance of a protective aura. This act of faith wasn't about negating fear, but acknowledging the inherent unpredictability of life, a reality that our contemporary ethos often urges us to forget. Both pathways, purpose and surrender, converge on a vital truth. Fear's dominion is not absolute. Khalida Popal's defiance in face of societal constraints and the Lancaster crew's reliance on their peculiar talismans underscore a profound acceptance of our limited control over external circumstances. Embracing this reality doesn't weaken us. Rather, it opens us to the possibility of living beyond the shackles of fear. Whether through the lens of purpose or the release of surrender, the journey involves an evolution of perspective, acknowledging that while we may not hold sway over every twist of fate, we possess the capacity to redefine the narrative, transforming fear from a formidable adversary to a catalyst for growth and resilience. Part 7. Embracing the shared journey, overcoming struggle together. John Keats, a name synonymous with the poetic embrace of life's sorrows, once profoundly noted that the world's pains and troubles are essential in shaping intelligence into a soul. This sentiment highlights the undeniable truth that life is interspersed with struggle and suffering, elements as critical to our growth as they are inevitable. Embarking on a fearless life isn't about evading every hardship or silencing the cacophony of our inner turmoil. Rather, it's in acknowledging these struggles and learning from them that we find our strength. Repressing negative emotions is akin to allowing an island of refuse to expand unchecked in the ocean of our consciousness, eventually miring us in toxicity if left unaddressed. So, how do we navigate these troubled waters? Begin with acceptance. Recognize the constraints fear has imposed on your life and its ripple effects on those around you. Perhaps the undercurrent of your fear has stirred storms in your relationships, manifesting as conflict or undue pressure on loved ones. Yet, within this acknowledgement lies a beacon of hope. Even as our fears might inadvertently touch others, These very connections hold the potential for our liberation from fear. Humanity is innately social. Our spirits buoyed by the bonds we forge, the sense of belonging, the shared laughter and tears, fortify us against the onslaught of fear. The journey of self-improvement is not a solitary trek, but a shared expedition. Investing in our relationships, allowing them to blossom fully, uncovers astonishing reservoirs of strength and resilience. Opening up, shedding the weight of our guards, and embracing vulnerability may seem daunting. It is, however, a gateway to profound security and freedom. Reflect on Jake, who lived in the shadow of shame over his sexuality. His journey to authenticity was not just a path to personal liberation, but a march towards the embrace of community. His experience underscores the transformative power of intimacy and honesty in conquering fear. As you navigate your own labyrinth of fears and challenges, remember that you are not an island adrift, but a vital part of the human mosaic. Embracing the collective journey, leaning into the vulnerability of shared experience, offers a compass through the darkest of nights. Through the act of coming together, sharing our stories, and lending each other strength, we not only transcend our fears, but also illuminate the path for others, affirming that no one has to face the tempest alone. Final summary. In the nuanced tapestry of human experience, fear often emerges as a potent but hidden thread, concealing itself beneath layers of everyday emotions and actions. However, unveiling these veiled fears marks the first step toward a more fulfilling and fearless existence. Embracing this journey involves more than mere realization. It necessitates a personalized strategy tailored to navigate through the fog of fear that shrouds our potential. The essence of overcoming fear lies in two fundamental approaches: discovering a profound sense of purpose, or embracing the grace of surrender. A clear, purpose-driven life offers not just a shield against fear, but a guiding star that lights the path forward, imbuing actions with meaning and direction. On the other hand, surrender, a trust in something greater than oneself, whether it's a deity, fate, or the universe, provides a different kind of strength. It's the peace found in accepting that not all aspects of life are within our control, allowing us to navigate uncertainty with a serene heart. Yet, the journey doesn't end with self-reflection and personal strategies. Human connections play a pivotal role in the conquest of fear. The power of love and belonging cannot be overstated. It is through our relationships that we find the courage to face our fears head-on, transforming them from menacing shadows into manageable challenges. The support, understanding, and acceptance we garner from these connections act as a potent antidote to fear, enabling us to step beyond our perceived limitations. In essence, the pathway to transcending fear and stepping into a life rich with possibility involves not just an individual trek, but a collective voyage. It's a journey where discovering one's purpose, embracing surrender, and deepening connections converge to form a robust framework for overcoming fear. Love indeed plays a crucial role, offering not just a counterbalance to fear, but a transformative force that reshapes our world. So, as we navigate the complexities of our fears, let us remember that we are not alone. By embracing the strategies that resonate with us and fostering the connections that sustain us, we unlock the potential to live life not constrained by fear, but enriched by a profound sense of purpose, acceptance, and belonging. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.